Good afternoon, YouTube.
It's evening.
They don't know that. They wouldn't know if it's morning or night.
You don't have to say because by the time they watch it, it's
Okay.
not gonna be evening.
It could
It
be
could be
either or.
morning, it
Yeah,
could be
okay.
middle of the night. Just
I
say
got
what's
you.
up, YouTube.
Okay.
You're being so formal and proper and stuff.
Okay, wait, don't, try not to move too much because it shakes the camera.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me get off the table.
Mhm.
I'm shaking the table.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, YouTube? I'm Maurice, and this is Danica. And you just entered the Mobley Culture.
Welcome to the culture, y'all.
Thank you. First, would you please hit the subscribe button? And please drop a like for the video. Maybe drop a comment. We really would appreciate it.
Yes, we will. And also, hit the notification bell so that every time we upload a new video, you are notified so that you can scurry on over to good old YouTube
Right.
and
Now,
watch our video. So today's video is going to be something a little different. Me and Maurice recently interviewed my cousins, Jalen and Kamaya Couch, because they're newlyweds. They recently got married back in August, and so I just wanted to sit down and talk to them to see how things were going, see how married life was going, seeing how they're adjusting to married life, and yeah, just to get their perspective on marriage and, is it meeting their expectations and, all that good stuff. And it was just a really good time. I think we talked to them for 2 hours.
right, 2 hours.
So this video is not going to be 2 hours long. Had to do a lot of trimming and cutting. But this is part 1 of our interview with Jalen and Kamaya. Part 2 can be viewed on Jalen and Kamaya's YouTube channel, which is One Lovely Couch. So please go to One Lovely Couch, subscribe to them as well. I'll also leave that information in the description box below. But go check them out as well. They are such a cute couple. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy this little interview about marriage.
Right.
Right? That's all you got for them?
That's all I got. Roll the video.
Roll the video.
So we have with us today, Murray, Kamaya. No, let me get that right. Jalen and Kamaya Couch.
Right.
Yes. And, they're quite special to me. First of all, because Kamaya is my little baby sweet cousin. Although she's not a baby clearly anymore. She's a full grown woman.
Right.
She just had a birthday and turned 27 on me. And
7.
It's crazy.
I mean, really, how did this happen? As I stated before, we were conversating the last Sunday. I was at the hospital when she was born.
Wow.
I drove during an ice storm
Wow.
to get to the hospital
That's pretty good.
to be there for her birthday.
That's pretty good.
She means me. That's love, okay? And so then what she does is goes ahead and gets married on me.
Right.
And
27 years later.
Right.
yeah, 27 years later. And we have pictures of,
Yeah.
at their wedding. Y'all's wedding was just so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was the first event that we had attended during the pandemic. So it was,
Day out.
so it was like people was kind of stressful, but it was real nice outside. It was lovely.
It was
lovely.
It was very nice. And
I can remember a lot of it. I have to go back and look at videos and pictures because a lot of it is just blurry.
It's a
blur.
Yeah.
Every single detail.
That's good.
you remember every single detail?
Every single detail.
But that's funny though, because what did I say?
Maurice said the same thing.
I remember all from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep that night.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he never remembered
And I can't
anything.
remember what happened yesterday, bro.
But for women, I think it's because the day really is about the woman, kind of, sort of, and we're usually, wondering, is everything okay? Is everything running smoothly? And we're being pulled in 5 different directions usually, and so it's like a blur. Like, and it goes by so fast. You do all this planning, and then
In one day.
it's over.
Here's the thing though, a lot of people told me that the day was gonna go by fast. So make sure I like cherish every moment. I personally don't feel like it went by fast. It's just a lot of stuff was happening that I'm like, I don't remember. If I sit down and think about a certain moment of the day, I can probably remember what was going on. But think about the day in its entirety, I'm like, it's just so much happening. But to me, it didn't go by fast at all. I feel like everything was dragged out and I was able to feel throughout the whole day. And I love that. I prayed for that though. So
Really?
the Lord required something of me. So I said, I require something of you too. But yeah, I think my experience was definitely a lot different than some other people, but it was still a good day. And I absolutely love going back and looking at the videos and pictures because it's like, oh, this little thing I didn't notice. And then I remembered after the fact, I'm like, oh, there's a little thing there that I didn't know before. But yeah, it was really good. I'm glad y'all enjoyed yourselves.
Oh yeah, loved it.
We love weddings.
I'm a social butterfly, so anything like that, I'm ready to go to. Wedding party, let's do it for real.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
Crazy.
So it's been, is it 5 months or 6?
It's going on 6.
Look, he knows. That's my man. He knows. He like,
Babe.
I'm telling you, it's here.
Yeah.
so good.
That's crazy. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
going
That's
on
funny.
6.
Yeah, going on 6.
So almost 6 months of marriage. So what do you think?
I still love it here.
I'll say it this way. For someone of my past experiences, it's so much more peaceful. I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to think twice about anything that I do, especially when it comes to the intimacy. Like I can just do that and know that it's freedom, right? Right. And so I don't know. It's fun. I find myself wanting to come home more often than I do being the social butterfly. If I'm out for a couple hours, I'm like, yeah, all right, y'all cool. Let me go back to the crib. I want to see what the wife is doing. Let me play the game, just be in her presence kind of thing. So it's fun to me. It's fun. It's one thing that Kevin and Kim prayed over us because we were stuck in California for 6 weeks, like the beginning of the pandemic. And one thing that they continuously prayed over for us was just to experience that freedom as a married couple, as individuals, of course, but then coming together as that couple. So it's fun.
Yeah, I would say it's fun too. And even those like hard moments or those hardships, I find myself at peace choosing him. If that makes sense. In the relationship, I was like, Lord, what you want me to do? Either you want me to choose him or you want me to step. And a lot of times he would just be like, okay, sweetheart, be patient. This is what I need you to do. But in marriage, I think because we made the decision to say, I'm going to marry this person. Right. When you go through hardships, knowing that was a commitment you made, you still kind of have a choice to not do it. But deep down in my heart, every time something happens or a hardship comes, I'm like, I want to cling to you more. I actually want to choose you more. I know this is bad. I know I don't like what I feel. And I know I'm not liking you right now, but I still want to cling to you and I still want to choose you. And that's one thing that's different, being married and then dating, that I've experienced that I'm still loving. So I love it here still.
That's beautiful. And I'm glad you kept saying the word choose. Because really being married, you're going to have to do a lot of choosing. You have to choose either I'm going to respond righteously or I'm going to respond out of my flesh. You're going to have to choose. I'm going to love him or her through it or I'm not. You're going to have to choose. I want to be married. I don't want to be married. Marriage is about choosing righteousness or choosing the flesh. Right. And I'm so glad you keep saying I like it here. I'm loving it here. Because there may come a day, and you may have already had a day that you was like, okay, I don't like it here today.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay to not like it here.
Right.
But you can't stay there. You can't stay in that place of, I don't like it here.
Yeah.
Have your moment.
Mm-hmm.
Have your come to Jesus meeting with Jesus. I'm like, okay, Jesus, I don't like it today, and this is why.
Yeah.
Help me out this, because I can't stay here. Because if you stay here, then you will choose the flesh.
If you find it easy to stay there, then you have other problems.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like when me and Danica have issues, it bothers me so much that I have to get it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I can't function. You know what I'm saying? So if you find yourself having an issue and you can still go on from day to day like ain't nothing happening, yeah, you got issues.
Right.
So yeah. And I like what you said, Jalen, about wanting to come home, because I was, like I said, I'm a social butterfly. So when we first got married, I had homeboys, so I'm still going to their house, playing the game till 12, coming back home. But now, 20 some years later into it, I'm like, hey, I'd rather be here than anywhere else. It's safer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got my wife here. The kids are here. I got my game here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm content. You know what I'm saying? I might go shoot out, holler at my boy for an hour or something, but you best believe I'm shooting right on back to the house.
Yeah. I remember a former coworker of mine. His name's Charles, and he came to our wedding. I worked with him 20-some years ago, and he told me, he said the safest place for a married man is at home. And I said, you know what, Charles Sloan, that is so true. He said, for real, when you think about it, he said, what is the point of, what does a married man need in the street?
Yeah.
Safest place for a married man is at home with his family. And that's very true. And in the beginning, because Maurice, he was always on the go. He just liked to go, go, go. That's just his personality. And he would go to work and come home. Like, he wouldn't be gone all the time, but every day he had to go somewhere outside of work. He had to go somewhere. He always had to go somewhere, even if it's just to his parents' house. He just had to go somewhere. And the older he's gotten, the more settled he's become. To now, last Saturday we didn't do nothing. We just sat in the house all day. And whereas before, when we first got married, ain't no way he could stay home all day.
It's hilarious because that's exactly what the pandemic expeditiously taught me.
For sure.
I'm always on the go, but it really put me in a place to find true comfort at home. And so after we got married, our three-week honeymoon, and we came home, and I legit told her, I'm straight. I don't gotta go back nowhere. I don't have to go to work. I don't have to do any of this stuff. Let's find a stay-at-home job or do what I need to do. Stay at the house so that I can still remain in this comfortability here. But man, it's so crazy how similar we are, because I've always been the go, go, go kind of person. And now here I am, 27 years old, operating as if I'm 45 with 3 kids. I just want to chill, But I don't know. It's just something very solemn about the peace that you have at home, especially with your wife and your best friend per se, right? And it's, again, it is the safest place, but I really wouldn't find any other environment that I'm the most productive, right? So when I say productivity, it doesn't necessarily have to be me working, because I do a lot of work even still being at home, but even being in each other's presence, you're still working in that decision making as a married couple. So I'm still choosing to be in your presence because I want to be here. But by me doing that, I'm recognizing your tendencies. I'm learning your ways. I'm learning what makes you tick, what makes you flow, what makes you relax, and all of those things, and just paying attention to the small things.
I like being in whatever space that he's in. It don't matter what he's doing. Yeah. And I think that's just me. But there's other people who just, I don't know, it's different. It could be just the personality thing, but I just like being up under him, and wherever he at, I like to be. Because it's just,
so
and I think for me, I just like to anticipate what he's gonna do. I like anticipating whatever he's gonna do. Like, he's goofy for one, but then he's also very smart, and he thinks a whole lot. And when he's with me, he just goes. His mind just goes. So I'm always anticipating him dropping an idea or dropping a vision, dropping something on me that I have to nurture as a wife. And I'm like, I would hate to miss that because I'm out doing something. hopefully if I'm out doing something, I'm praying over the family, or I'm cooking something, or I'm doing some other duties that can be done away from him. But most of the time, he's that type of person where I'm like, I cannot miss if he drops something, because I'm the one now responsible for making sure those seeds get nurtured. So that's another thing I like about just being up under him, because I'm like, this man is wise and he's super dope and he's my husband. So absolutely, I'm gonna be with you as much as I can.
You know what, Mari? You know, I'm realizing something. Y'all are, you said it the other day that you wish that you had what they have
at when we was y'all.
Yeah, you all, and I don't mean this in a, what's the word, facetious way. But you all are so spiritual, and I love that.
Good.
It's a good thing.
Yep.
It really is. I think we, especially when you grow up in the church.
The grand stat at y'all age being married 6 months is excellent.
It is.
It's excellent.
It is.
And a lot of couples don't get that until way down, after they experience a bunch of mess. You see what I'm saying? So to have that's the best foundation you can have as a new couple, as a newly married couple.
Yes, you all really do have a good foundation. And I think when you grow up in the church like we did, all of us grew up in the church. And I think we take spirituality for granted because we've seen a lot of church.
Right.
And religion.
Yes, we've seen so much of that. We take true spirituality for granted. And we are supposed to be spiritual. We're supposed to be, righteous and spiritual minded at all times. That doesn't mean that we can't have fun and we don't laugh. But we really are, like when you were saying, Kamai, that while you're in there watching them play, you're praying. Like, Lord, what do I need to be, seeing? What am I supposed to do with this? And I'm noticing that's how we're supposed to be. And so that's really great, because I wasn't there when I first got married. I wasn't there.
And I probably wasn't at home playing the game. Well, I might have been for a minute.
Maybe for a minute.
For a minute, then I was.
You all are aware of the book, 5 Love Languages. So tell me, what is Jalen's love language? And Jalen, what is Kamaya's love language?
Yeah.
I would say Jalen's top love language is quality time. And then I would follow up and say words of affirmation. Yeah, I think those are like top. Here's the thing though. With the 5 love languages, I think that a lot of people say, these are my love languages because that's what they like the most of. But to be honest, I feel like all of them apply to all of us.
Yeah,
true.
These are the most comfortable. This is what I like the most. So I think quality time and then words of affirmation for you.
Hers is physical touch. And then it has turned to her second one would be quality time. And then the third one is words of affirmation.
Yeah. Mine is quality time. And early on in our marriage, when I would say, I want to spend quality time with you, and he's like, but we live together. I'm home every,
I didn't get it.
He didn't understand what I was saying. He was just thinking, well, we're under the same roof at the same time. So what do you mean?
We're in the room together. I was like, no. We're sharing space together, but that's
I was like, no. I mean, quality time, like sharing.
That's quality time.
Right. I said, sharing with each other, not just sitting down watching a movie together. Right. That's part of quality time. I said, but I just want to share and converse. And I'm not by nature a talker. Not at all. I've evolved a little bit, and matured into it. But by nature, I'm just not a talker. He is. But I told him, I said, you can talk to everybody but me. I mean, chatterbox with everybody but me. It seemed like with me, he just goes mute and don't know how to talk. And I'm like, what's up with that? Why can't you talk to me? He's like, what do you mean I do talk to you? It's like, no, I'm being a woman. I want to tell me how you feel,
Pour your heart out to me,
And he's being, a typical man, especially at that age. Just like, I'm not going to do that.
And I had ever really been in a real serious relationship. Like, I've had girlfriends, but not to the point where we living together, and she tell me, because I never roomed with a girl, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So for a girl to be telling me talk, I'm like, talk. I'm about to bounce. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? So I thank God, man. When you can look at yourself and say, I've come a long way, you pretty much came a long, like, bruh, yeah.
He really has. Just marriage anyway. It's you have to grow into it. You know, you have to, really live your way through it each day. You know, you don't go into it knowing what to do. And that leads me to another question. What were your expectations of marriage before you got married? And has marriage so far lived up to those expectations? Has it exceeded it? Has it fallen below?
I would say I'll give you 3. My 3 main expectations leading up to marriage were to have a good time always. To love somebody in a way that I have never loved anybody else. I think I love pretty well, but I was excited and I expected to learn how to love a different person in a different way. And then my 3rd expectation was to have sex all the time.
Keep it real, sister. Keep it real, sister. Really, man, really. Really.
But it's okay.
But Jalen alluded to that earlier. That's being home. That's the reason why you want to come home. You know what you got.
I was excited and I expected that when you get married, that because the bed is undefiled, like you have sex all the time because you love the person, but because God blessed you with that. Like he created us to do it. So I'm like, so that's going to be something I'm going to learn because I've never experienced that either. And I would say that the first expectation, having a good time, I think marriage has exceeded. We only been 5-6 months now. Having a good time, we always have a good time. And if it's uncomfortable, we try to figure out how to have a good time because we like that about each other. The second part, let me think. Now being in marriage, I would say I have accomplished loving someone different than I've ever loved before, but it is a choice.
Yeah.
I think before I wasn't open to choosing to love other people that way. I just wasn't because I'm like, y'all gonna hurt me. But now in marriage, I'm like, he could still hurt me, but I just would rather love you anyway. So yeah, I would say marriage has been exceeding that expectation. And then sex all the time. God is just let God is good. And he's well within our marriage.
God did his thing when he invented sex. He did a good job. Good job.
Right. Yeah, what would be yours?
Mine is very simple because there's multiple facets to it. But my expectation for marriage was that it was going to be work. And that's exactly what it's been. And not in a way to where it's unhealthy. Because when people ask me, so how's the married life? And I say, it's a healthy adjustment. And I mean, a way where it's legit a healthy adjustment because I'm now recognizing what I not struggle with, but how selfish I was in my thinking by being a technically single man my entire life, all the way up until August 22nd of 2020. So for me, it's just been work to rid myself of those habits, those learned behaviors, those selfish thoughts, selfish desires, cooking a meal just for me rather than for both of something as small as that. And it's just work. And like I mentioned earlier, watching her get ready for bed, go to bed, have sleep, and asking tons of questions at 2:00 in the morning, she waking up, that's work. I'm not trying to answer questions at 2:00 in the morning when I'm dreaming visions for you, and you asking me, babe, did you do this earlier today? Girl, it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm not thinking about that, right? So that's a part of the work.
Yep.
That's a part of the work, that I knew that I was going into, and I told her, on our honeymoon, I just said, I'm so excited about this. I'm glad that we're having a great time. That's always been an expectation of mine. And of course, like she said, the marriage has exceeded that. However, I told her that once we get back, that's when the real work starts.
Yeah.
And it's been that all the time. And I always say that people have the power to choose and they have the power to make sound decisions. But we also have the power and free will to make decisions that only benefit one party, which is ourselves. And so we're used to always gravitating toward ourselves when things get tough, just out of a humanistic defense mechanism. That's just what it is. But I've learned that I had to work out of that mindset to greatly benefit the entire dynamic of my marriage. And it's beneficial for me and it's detrimental for the marriage, because I vowed not only that day to serve her and to do all those things before God and for the witnesses, but I also vowed to her personally that we will not allow our children to even get a taste of the things that we experience in our past, things that we struggle with mentally, emotionally, sexually, socially, what have you. So just know that, like, the wisdom, and I'll say it very candidly, the wisdom that people receive from us is a testament of our personal endeavor and our personal encounters with God, realizing that we don't want anyone else, including our seeds, to deal with that and be choked up by things that we knew that we could deal with.
Hey, Jalen, where was you at when I was 25, man?
He was,
I need a friend like
he
you,
was
bro.
about 7, I think.
Hey, you probably was wise at 7. I would have listened to you at 7. When you was 7. And I was 25. I would have listened to everything you had to say, brother.
Right.
For real.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, it's a place, and I'll say this from the man's perspective, and it always infiltrates into this dynamic. But my desire, even with my crazy past and all of that stuff, my desire still at the end of the day is I want to live in the place where God needs me to be in order to always be ready to be used.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm always in a position to be used by anyone, especially God himself, whether I have to speak something, whether I just show love to somebody, send them a cash app, whatever it is, as long as I'm always ready and available, it's just going to be a reflection. Anytime someone encounters us, we want them to be able to see, we want them to have that Moses experience, that mountaintop experience, right? We want to be able to come down anywhere we are and people see and are blinded by the light and the love that we just so eagerly want to possess. And that's the only difference. Even now, like having, some of my close guy friends, man, I'm one of the pieces of the glue that keeps us together, because we can easily, as men, especially nowadays, fall back into the traps, that kept us from either being married or getting married, or keeping us in those relationships longer than needed. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the place that I want to be. Yeah. And again, for my kids, I want to be able to always be available to them, to pour something into them, recognize things before they even go into it, and say, hey, I want you to just watch out for this. Hey, I experienced this too. So let me just kind of prepare you for what you have to deal with, because it goes back to my same point. It's about the work. And I realized how much more work it was going to take for me as the man, the husband, the house band. We're the ones who are the band for the house. And I didn't realize how much more work it was going to take on an individual end for me to be able to know that it's going to infiltrate into the marriage.